impact on the season ahead.
Jurong's football club's first year in the S-League was a bittersweet experience. Nicknamed number 9 by the critics, the former NFL Division 1 champions was expected to finish bottom of last year's 9-team league. Despite 2 4-0 defeats in their first 2 games, Jurong Scorpions later surprised bigger clubs like Geylang and Woodlands at their Gombak stadium. Even with sponsorship problems and a bribery scandal, the young upstarts from Jurong still finished an impressive 7th. 1998 will be a whole new beginning for the club. The new Jurong East Stadium is now home to the Cobras, and with 11 new signings and a strong sponsor, the club is set to unleash its venom. Besides retaining speedy Ghanaian Tanko Yatuma and midfield general Jason Ainsley, Jurong has also acquired 2 new English signings. 21-year-old Matthew Hyson is a versatile sweeper, and the 1.86-meter tall Damon Henderson was a former reserve top scorer with English Cup Leeds United.
Back home in England, it's a lot of, you know, yourself against one centre-back, a lot of physical contact. I'm going to have to change slightly to accommodate myself to Singapore football. I'm used to being like a big target man in the air, holding the ball up. But obviously now I'm trying to play a lot more technically because we're playing to feet, get off defenders and actually running at them and making life hard for them in Singapore.
One of Jurong's major problems last year was up front. The club had the worst goal-scoring record with only 15 goals in 16 matches. Defender Ishamuddin Barocha had to play as a striker and finish the season as a club's top scorer. To beef up their strike force, coach Jimmy Pearson has signed Joseph Parkinson from Tiong Bahru and the controversial V. Sundramuthi from Woodlands. The former Singapore striker had a nightmare season, playing only 3 full matches in 1997.
I've been training for the last about a month, then playing some friendly matches. Slowly and steadily I should be there for the S-League. I like to play the whole season without getting injuries or missed matches. And as far as my target is concerned, to win something with Jurong and then to bring back the fans to Jurong.
Former Woodlands defender Tamil Maran and ex-Balestier stopper Boyan Hodak have also been acquired to strengthen the Jurong defence. With more players to choose from, it's no wonder that Scottish coach Jimmy Pearson is quietly optimistic.
We don't have key players. We have 11 on the pitch and that's it. The same commitment is going to be there, the same effort's there. The players are blending well. I think we'll surprise a hell of a lot of people.
At the tail end of last season, suspensions and injuries meant Jurong only had 13 players left to field. But this year, competition for places is expected.
Everybody's about the same standard, fighting for that place, so you don't do your job well, you sit on the bench.
I've come better prepared this year, you know, I mean, I'm a lot fitter, a lot stronger, and with the team that we've assembled this year, I've got to be aiming for the top 4 place, you know.
And the signs have been encouraging for the Cobras. Jurong beat S-League club Tampines 1-0 and Tampines NFL 8-2 in 2 recent friendlies. How well the club performs in the season ahead will depend on whether Sundramuthi can rediscover his magic and whether their foreigners can make the grade. Given that a cobra can kill an elephant with its sting, perhaps the Jurong Cobras will become a giant killer in 1998.
To the team's confidence in view of the upcoming Tiger Beer S-League season. Sports Scene took a trip up north to the Woodlands Stadium to check on their new lineup.
The President's Centennial Cup. It could well transform to the Tiger Beer League Cup for Woodlands Wellington by the end of this season. That's the vision of Rams team manager R. Vengadasalam, its coach Dean Wheatley, and the team itself. The Rams finished 3rd last season, and they are gunning to do better this time around.
Already teams do not like to play Woodlands because we play a very fast attacking brand of soccer, which is exciting to watch. and we try and create a good product for the fans to come and watch. And I think teams do fear playing us, and I think they ought to fear us this year.
And it is their strong lineup of some experienced veterans and upcoming youngsters that they are banking on to help their climb to the top. Number 9, Jan Janostak, striker. Czech Janostak is the longest serving and most senior foreign player.
I try give my best. I want to help these young players in our team, and if I score some few goals, I mean, like maybe if I score more than 10 goals, I'll be very happy, and for me my target is more than 10 goals.
Well known for his strength in the air and speed up front, the 33-year-old is sure to send shivers down the spines of many defenders. But Janostak won't be solely responsible for bringing in all the goals. He has a strike partner, a new signing to help strengthen the Rams' firepower. It's number 10, Paul Richardson, striker. The 21-year-old Englishman used to play for Middlesbrough and will be one of the key players to look out for this year.
We look to do well with Woodlands. We'll hopefully have a good run in the Cups, and who knows, in the league we've got a good young squad, so anything's possible.
A bit young, you may say, for our league, but don't be fooled. Richardson is razor sharp in the box and strong for his age. And most of all, he is very determined to prove his worth in Singapore. Number 11, Mark Patterson, midfielder. The 19-year-old who hails from England was also a Middlesbrough player. He may have a fiery temper, but that also fires him up at the steely battle in midfield. Number 1, Henrik Dorgensen, goalkeeper. The Dane arrived just last week and could well be the key to solving the team's goalkeeping blunders last season. Number 14, Faisal Saudi, midfielder. The 22-year-old youth plays in the national squad's second team and is already knocking on the doors of the first 11.
Train more and be prepared for every game. I give 100% for every game, contribute to the team.
He may be a veteran who has lost some speed, but Malik Awab is not a man to be underestimated. His vision and experience will be value added on the field for the Rams. With such an explosive combination of young and the experienced, this season's League Cup may just be within the Rams' reach.
In Group B, with a disappointing display as Minnows, the Philippines, held the Lions to a 1-0 scoreline last night at Jurong Stadium.
The Lions in red, as expected, dominated the first half, but it was a scrappy affair throughout, with the Filipino players chasing for almost every ball. But the home side did get the early lead. Rudy Chiron's well-taken free kick in the 11th minute beat keeper Melo Sabakan all the way. Instead of sitting back to defend, the Filipinos attacked the home side and almost equalized through Norman Fegideiro's solo effort. But Zulkarnain Zainal was on hand to clear the danger. The visitors had another chance just before the break, but Marlon Pinheiro mistimed this effort. The halftime score stood at 1-0. The second half was a similar affair, with the Lions practically camping in the Philippine side. Singapore could have gone 2 up easily on 2 occasions, but the obvious lack of an established striker saw them missing their chances even within the penalty box. Substitute Azhar Baksin's effort in the 56th minute was denied by the woodwork. Minutes later, Azhar played provider for Naha Daud, but the post again denied the home side. The Lions tried their utmost to find the elusive second goal, but they sorely missed the deadly finishing touch of Fandi Ahmad and will surely want to do better in their game against Cambodia on Saturday.
Of the Tiger Cup. The two countries will make the trip to Jakarta in late August after finishing first and second respectively in Group B. Here are highlights of the 2 matches that decided the overall standings. After losing to Singapore 1-0, the Philippines in red desperately needed to win against Cambodia in their second tie. And they came out fighting. This Norman Fagidero effort in the 12th minute was well covered by keeper Nem Buton. Cambodia could have opened accounts on the half hour, but keeper Melo Sabakan was quick to close out Hok Sochatra's effort. But Sochatra did make amends 5 minutes later with a well-taken goal, following some sloppy defending by the Philippines backline. Just 5 minutes after going behind, Philippines should have been on level terms, but Marlon Pinero just could not find the net. And the tale of misses continued for the Filipinos in the second half. Vincente Rosell and substitute Ziggy Tonog fumbling with clear-cut chances. But they did manage an equalizer with 4 minutes to go to full-time. Norman Fagidero racing onto a through ball and beating his marker before sliding the ball home. Final score, Philippines 1, Cambodia 1.
In the final Group B match, Singapore silenced their critics with a convincing win over Cambodia. After a lively opening period, Singapore was rewarded in the 21st minute. Rudy Caron, who scored from a free kick against Philippines, delivered another beauty, this time from 40 meters to give Singapore a 1-0 lead. Singapore's second goal came in the 25th minute. Off a Zulkarnain Zion free kick, Captain Lim Tong Hai made no mistake from close range. Cambodia then had a chance to pull one back. Hoxie Chatra hit the crossbar with a free kick and teammate Chon Malani failed to score on the rebound. 11 minutes in the second half, the Cambodian defense made a horrendous error, but Muhammad Noor Ali failed to capitalize. The young Lion was given a second chance minutes later, Captain Lim Tong Hai releasing Noor Ali to score Singapore's third and final goal. Final score, Singapore 3, Cambodia 0. Home team in the familiar red and white had their first attempt to new Iranian signing Abdul Mafavi. 17 minutes into the match, the Eagles was awarded a direct free kick. From 25 meters out, Geylang's new signing Max Nicholson unleashed a fearsome left footer that came off the upright and into goal. Tanjong Pagar had a major fright when Captain Lim Tong Hai was involved with a head-to-head clash with teammate Basri Khalis. The Singapore captain was stretchered off and substituted at half-time. Just 2 minutes after this unfortunate incident, Basri Khalis played a brilliant 1-2 down the left flank before lobbing a stunning goal over Geylang keeper David Lee. Half-time score stood at 1 apiece and it stayed that way till the end.
We'll also have an update on that, and we also have queued up an interview with Jennifer Chen. The World No. 2 Tiger Beer S-League season roared to life last night with 5 matches played and a feast of goals for soccer fans. We have highlights from the match of the day. Perennial rivals Tanjong Pagar taking on Geylang United at Queenstown Stadium, and results from all the other matches coming up.
The Tanjong Pagar Jaguars, formerly known as Chong Bahru, took on visitors Geylang before a sold-out crowd at Queenstown. It was to be a bittersweet night for Jaguars' Basri Khalis, who got a yellow card after just 7 minutes. The home team in their familiar red and white had their first attempt through new Iranian signing Abdul Mafavi. 17 minutes into the match, the Eagles had a great scoring chance from a free kick. Geylang's new signing Max Nicholson unleashed a fearsome 25-meter shot that came off the upright and into goal. Tanjong Pagar had a major fright when Captain Lim Tong Hai was involved with a head-to-head clash with teammate Khalis. Tong Hai, the Singapore captain, was stretchered off and was substituted at half-time. Just 2 minutes after this unfortunate incident, Basri Khalis played a brilliant 1-2 down the left flank before lobbing a stunning goal over Geylang keeper David Lee. Half-time scores stood at 1 apiece. The Jaguars came out roaring in the second half. Tanjong Pagar's Majid Motla delivered this superb through ball, but both Stephen Tan and Abdul Mafavi failed to score in the 68th minute. In the 87th minute, some Geylang players began to lose their cool. Within 30 seconds, Captain Kadir Yahya was booked for dissent and midfielder Max Nicholson was booked for an over-the-top challenge. The Jaguars had one last chance to grab the winner, but it ended Tanjong Pagar 1, Geylang United 1.
And another match is played. Defending champions, the SAF Warriors kicked off their campaign with a strong 3-1 win over Home United. Balestier Central bowled the newcomers Marine Castle 3-1. Gombak United failed to hold on to a 2-1 halftime lead to go down 2-3 to Tampines Rovers. The final tie between Woodlands Wellington and Jurong FC ended scoreless.
Welcome back, and here's a look at the goals from the other locations. We begin at the Jurong Stadium. It was another bitter rivalry between the SAFFC in blue and a rejuvenated Home United side. The Lawmen had most of the early attacks, but defending champions SAFFC was just too tight at the back. And the Warriors' new signing Vaselko Paponia lived up to his nickname of Boomer when Sergio Cleveland could only palm his 11th minute free kick right into the path of Fandi Ahmad, who made no mistake. Barely a minute later, Imran Mohammed could have made it 2 for the Warriors, but he shot tamely straight at the Protectors' keeper. The defending champions seemed to grow in strength and confidence as the game wore on. Damir Matiasevich found his 27th minute attempt denied by Sergio Cleveland. 6 minutes later, Cleveland again denied Damir. In the 37th minute, Damir finally beat Cleveland, rounding the keeper, but the angle was too narrow and his layoff was well covered. But 2 minutes from the break, the Protectors' keeper could do nothing with this Mohammad Azhar Saleh shot that had him beaten all the way. The home side thought they had a chance of turning the game around when 4 minutes into the second half, they were presented a gift goal. Keeper Rezal Hassan half clearing this cross right into Egmar Gonsalves' head. But the cheers were cut short as SAFFC regained their 2-goal advantage, Damir and skipper Fandi combining well before Fandi slotted home from close range for his second goal of the night. And though the Protectors had much of the attack in the second half, they couldn't convert the chances that came their way. SAFFC should have made it 4 late in the game, but Sergio Cleveland saved the blushes for the visitors. Final score, SAFFC 3, Home United 1. Newcomers Marine Castle United FC in yellow kicked off their first S League match ever with a daunting visit to the Tigers' Den. Balestier Central, led by Palish Goran, soon displayed their claws after just 3 minutes. It took 30 minutes before Goran had another chance at goal, but Dolphins keeper Abdul Rahim was alert to the danger. From the resulting corner, Abdul Rahim pulled up another point-blank save. Last year's S-League top scorer Palish Goran could not be denied in the 34th minute a clever back heel and a cool finish for his season-opening goal. Balestier Central Tigers oozed confidence in the second half. A patient build-up on the right ended with Iranian Said Ali Eftekhari blasting in goal number 2 in the 48th minute. The Toa Payoh crowd were dancing again when Balestier scored just 4 minutes later. Abdullah Noor struck a stiff grounder from the edge of the penalty box to make it 3-0. Former NFL side Marine Castle tried to make a comeback, but found it tough against a stubborn Balestier defense. Off an 80th minute corner, the Balestier defense fumbled with a high ball, but the Dolphin strike force failed to capitalize. 33-year-old Goran could have added another, but his header came off the upright. With 3 minutes remaining, there was some consolation for Marine Castle after Ghanaian. 24 minutes into the match, Woodlands was awarded a direct free kick 22 meters out, but Richardson's curler failed to find the net. The barren spell continued in the second half, and here are the results of the week. And after the first week of matches, SAF and Balestier occupied top position after winning their opening match by identical scores. The other winning team was Tampines. Geylang, Tanjong Pagar, Jurong and Woodlands have a point each. Newcomers Gombak United and Marine Castle lose their first match. Home United also begin the new season on a losing note.
And Omar Rafiq put Rovers ahead 5 minutes later after a tussle for the ball. But 7 minutes into the second half, Woodlands got a second penalty, and this time Paul Richardson made no mistake. However, the action wasn't over as 15 minutes from time, 2 players were sent off for this incident. At Bukit Gombak, Jurong chalked up their first win with this goal from captain Ishamuddin Barucha against Gombak United. At Bishan, an Ekma Gonsalves goal separated Home United from Sembawang. And at Hougang, Marine Castle suffered their second straight home defeat, losing 2-1 to Geylang.
League. Leaders Geylang United maintain their top position after handing Gombak United their 4th defeat in 4 games with 2 goals from Dalis Supayat. But last year's champions, SAF, slumped to their 2nd successive defeat, losing 2-0 to Tanjung Pagar.
Despite the home ground advantage, the Warriors failed to overcome Tuesday's disappointment at Toa Payoh. After some pressure from the home side, Tanjung Pagar retaliated with a shot by Basri Halis in the 19th minute. And at the half-hour mark, Basri finally beat SAF keeper Effendi Sabtu with his header. The defending champions then went on a frantic search for the equalizer, but this close-range miss by Damir Matijasevic symbolized the Warriors' futile efforts throughout the night. Adding further misery to Vincent Subramanian's boys was Abdul Mafavi's goal, coming a minute before half-time. But the Warriors nearly pulled the goal back to Velimir Krajan in the 2nd minute of injury time. Final score, SAF 0, Tanjung Pagar 2. And the Warriors' conquerors 4 days ago, Balestier Central, which has never won a league match at Woodlands, tried to change that early in the game against the Rams, with a Goran Paulic goal in the 2nd minute. But Woodlands equalized 6 minutes later through Amin Nasir. And just when it looked like the match would end in a draw, Mark Patterson scored with 6 minutes left to give Woodlands their first victory of the season. Final score, Woodlands 4, Balestier 3. Over at Yishun, Sembawang Rangers chalked up their 2nd straight home victory, beating Marine Castle 2-0. And finally, a shocker at Tampines, where Home United upset their hosts with a 4-0 thrashing.
This is a Singapore Television 12 sports production.
On tonight's Tiger Beer S League highlights, it's another half hour of all the best goals as we circle the island to bring you the 5 games from round 5. And we go up north to Sembawang to catch a Yugoslav who's very much at home in Singapore. But first off, we go to our main game at Bedok Stadium with Jamie Reeves as he brings you the match thriller between Geylang United and the SAF Warriors.
Last season, the SAF Warriors only tasted defeat twice in the league. This season, they've already been beaten twice in the space of just 5 days. So tonight, almost 5,000 fans are packed into the Bedok Stadium to see if table-topping Geylang can make it 3 defeats in a row in what is undoubtedly this week's match of the day. Geylang currently sitting on top of the table with a much-changed lineup from 2 years ago when they swept the ball. But David Lee's still there in goal. The man who's doing so well for them in midfield, number 11 Max Nicholson, of the deft left foot and the tough tackles. Warren Spink leads the attack alongside Sean Fallon, the Kiwi. Meanwhile, for the armed forces, well, 2 successive defeats and some changes in their lineup. Ivica Ragus, who didn't look fit last week, is on the subs bench. Damir Matijasevic, who missed a lot of chances in the first half, starts on the bench. And number 23, lovely for everybody to see, last season's Player of the Year, Nazri Nazir, back in action. Fandi Ahmad playing at number 17 up front with V. Selvaraj, and Velimir Krajan pulling the strings in midfield. So Geylang get us underway in their traditional white jerseys, and that's Sadiq inside, the right fullback, who pumps the ball early on to Papo, the distinctive bald pate of Papo, who wins a second header already. Sadikin overlapping on the right flank, and he gets this one. Goes inside for the 1-2, and Sadikin with a chance to cross the ball, but just goes tamely along the ground and comfortably picked up by Rizal Hassan. So the ball picked up in midfield. This is Imran Mohammed. Plays the ball to Velimir Krayan. Fandi involved, back to Velimir. Comfortable possession football. Azhar Saleh with a bit of space. Fandi making a run forward. Fandi got away from his marker, and there's the first goal. Fandi Ahmad getting away from his marker, his best friend in football, Kadir Yaya, and getting in just in front of another of his best friends, David Lee, to head the first goal. So brave going in there, could easily have got clumped by David, but Fandi never been known to lack bravery. And there's the opening goal in the 6th minute. So now with 11 minutes gone, Armed Forces with a throw-in. Fandi receives it, shields it well, plays it through, this time to Azhar Saleh. Azhar with the shot, and it bounces back off the foot of the post. And Azhar and Fandi combine the other way round. Azhar should have scored. And doesn't Douglas Moore know it, looking very pensive there. So now Geylang do have a chance to attack in the 21st minute. Max Nicholson over the free kick. Max will undoubtedly float this in with his left foot. Big Neil Allison's up from the back. Max trying to pick him out. The ball comes in. Neil Allison gets in front of his marker and flicks it into the far post. And that's the equaliser. Big Neil Allison gets away from, I think, yes, it's Nasri Nazir. And no chance at all for Rizal Hassan in goal. And that's 1-1 after 21 minutes. And the crowd are jubilant. Nasri Nazir, and good to see him back in action on the football pitch again. Lovely little 1-2 from Imran Mohammed. Imran very much favours this right flank, got plenty of pace, waiting for support, and then dummies it, goes inside. As the defence comes out, there's a little space opening for Hafizat. Hafizat's in the clear, goes for the far corner, but just squeezes the ball past the post. And Hafizat surely should have done better. He's explaining where he went wrong, but he should have made it 2-1. And once again, Douglas Moore on his feet, not at all happy with things. Long kick out from David Lee, but returned, and Selvaraj on the ball, taking on Kadir Yaya. And Kadir bundles Selvaraj over. Kadir just having a little word with the referee's assistant, querying whether that really was a free kick, but not much doubt about that one. So what can they conjure from this one? Velimir Krayan normally takes these situations. He's found himself some space. It's a shooting chance for Krayan. And oh my goodness, he nearly broke the crossbar with that one. A super strike from Velimir Krayan. Had David Lee beaten to the wide, but it just rapped against the bar and bounced clear. But the safety is not entire as yet. This is Nasri, hooks the ball on. Fandi's going to get on the end of this. And a great save from David Lee from Fandi Ahmad. What a little spell of football. Never lost for words, Vincent Subramaniam there. Rafi Ali, another one who's just regaining his fitness, knocks it out to Sadikin. Sadikin hoists it long. And well, Sean Fallon's got a free header. Well, that's an extraordinary piece of play. Sean Fallon, a completely free header, just tipped over the bar. Kadir Yaya pumps it in this time. Keeper's come a long way, a little bit rash, he's not really cleared the danger. The ball hooked wide and Warren Spink chases after it. Can he turn and get a cross in? He certainly turned. The ball comes to Max Nicholson, and that scraped the post as well. Max Nicholson with that left foot. Unlucky not to get the second goal for Geylang. Douglas Moore looking slightly more irritated. We're into the second half now. And Velimir Krayan poised over the ball with the free kick. But this time he goes short instead. Interesting variation. The ball played squares, a miss-hit shot. It's just bobbling around in there. Fandi's on the end of it, trying to get a shot. Fandi shoots. Selvaraj tips it to Imran Mohammed. Well, and Imran hooks it into the roof of the net. It's a scruffy goal. We see Wimbledon getting those week in, week out off the English Premier League. But Imran Mohammed, happy to get it any way he can. And that puts the Armed Forces back in the lead, 2-1. Now in the 62nd minute. A nice little drag back, but not the best of balls played forward. And Ivica Ragus is in the action, and Ragus does see the ball there, still doesn't look 100% fit and won't have enjoyed that robust challenge. Ball played into Rafi Ali. And Rafi, good to see him back on the pitch as well. He's had a very nasty long-term injury, just regaining his confidence. Time and space for Rafi here, looks up and slots the ball forward to Warren Spink, who's got away from his marker. Warren Spink gets the equaliser. Beautiful ball played forward by Rafi Ali. Warren Spink points to his partner in crime. Rafi looks up with slide rule accuracy, measures the pass. Davon Mioch appealing for offside, no chance. Neither did Rizal Hassan have a chance in goal. 2-2. And it's a brave man who would predict the outcome of this game. 2-2 in a fascinating spectacle before almost 5,000 fans. Rafi with the Sipak Takraw kick, hooks the ball to relative safety. But the armed forces looking to come forward, and Ragu slips it to Cryan. They can't give this man too much space, cuts inside, the defender slipped, and Cryan's just slipped it inside the far post and beaten David Lee once again to put the armed forces 3-2 ahead. You see the defender just slips there, that just created the space, and that's all Velimir Cryan needs with that accuracy of left foot. Now, the 74th minute, another free kick situation. Max Nicholson poised. I'm sure Nicholson will take this. Well, he does indeed. Takes a little deflection and rattles the post off Rizal Hassan. The danger still not cleared. Well, it is now. But Max Nicholson's so unlucky. We see it again there, just deflected off the wall, smacks against the post and bounces off Rizal Hassan. Young Indra Sadang coming into the action to replace the Kiwi Sean Fallon. A little bit more guile. So, corner kick to Geylang, and it goes very deep. It's a towering header back in, and the ball comes to Indra, but, well, inside the 6-yard box with the goal gaping, Indra just heads the ball over instead of into the net. Papo rides a fairly hefty challenge from Kadiyaya. We're in the 86th minute now. Kadiyaya a little bit frustrated, has a little chat with the referee En Santon, who's had an excellent game this evening. Ragus with the ball, cuts inside, and oh dear, that's a terrible challenge from Kadiyaya, and unfortunately if he gets a yellow card for that, it will be his marching orders, because he's already been booked and the referee's got no alternative. Kadir knows what the outcome is, he's already heading for the dressing room, and that's sad indeed. The Geylang captain being sent off for 2 yellow card offences, and that compounds the problems of the coach. But still they pour forward. Rafi Ali spreads the ball wide, good control. Warren Spink in close attendance. Papo gets a little toe in, but Spink has the ball. Chips the ball up intelligently, and that's laid off by Nicholson. Indra with the shot. Well, he got a clean strike on it, but unfortunately too straight and gratefully grabbed by Rizal Hassan. Once again they come forward, still looking for this equaliser. Is that a foul? Yep, it's a foul on the far side. So free kick to Geylang, and look at the urgency they're putting into the game. We're in the 90th minute already. Zulkarnian Zainal placing the ball carefully. He's got a lovely left foot, Zul. Neil Allison's up to support the attack again, surely looking for the big man. So Zul hoists it in, and Papo gets a good head on that. It should be the defender's ball, but great challenge from Zul. Another opportunity to hook it in. Good clearance, but now Neil Allison, but, well, that's a centre-half's effort on the ground. Neil Allison looking rather more comfortable in the air than he is on the ground, and all he wins is a throw-in off the Selvaraj. The referee showing that he's playing time added on for stoppages, of which there have been a few. Here we are in the 92nd minute. Rafi Ali pumps the ball up. Allison gets a head on it, but again it drifts wide of the post. Could so easily have drifted to another attacker. And for once, Vincent Subramaniam lost for words. There's a moment to treasure. Again, the ball pumped into the box. Neil Allison heads back across goal, but Zulkifli Jumaid is there to clear the danger. Look at the celebration from Rizal Hassan. You'd have thought he just scored the winner. So perhaps a final corner. Even David Lee's come up for this. Even the goalkeeper's come up to lend his height and weight. And David Lee bundles in there, the referee blows his whistle. David Lee, well, that must be a rarity indeed. How often from a corner kick will you see a goalkeeper fouling the opposing goalkeeper? Maybe David Lee getting a little retribution after all those years of being fouled on corner kicks. Rizal Hassan taking as long as he possibly dare. Papoh pointing to the exact spot he wants to take the kick from. 92 minutes of pulsating football already played. And Papoh takes the goal kick. And as he does so, you can hear Santon blows the final whistle to bring the curtain down on perhaps what has been one of the outstanding games ever played in the S League. 5 goals, 4 attempts which hit the woodwork. Outstanding entertainment for a big crowd. 3-2 to the Armed Forces, knocking Geylang off the top spot of the table.
And on to the other game venues. It was no holds barred at Jurong East Stadium as the Cobras entertained the Stallions of Sembawang. And barely 4 minutes into the game, the visitors had their first sight of goal. Bidan's shot just floating over the bar. Then it was Jurong's turn as Ishamuddin Barucha was set up by teammate Damien Henderson. But the defender turned striker blasted it over from 5 meters out. Barely 5 minutes later, a brilliant pass by Sundramuthi put Ishamuddin clear again, but he shot straight into a diving Tura El Haji. Sundram then displayed some of his dazzling skills as he outpaced 2 Stallions defenders in the 37th minute, but again keeper Tura El Haji spread himself well. The deadlock was broken so suddenly that everyone, including our cameraman, was caught by surprise as Milomir Sezlia unleashed an unstoppable 35-meter shot to give Sembawang the lead with just a minute to the break. The home side came close to equalizing in the 52nd minute, but Tenko Jatuma's cross was misheaded by Sundram and striking partner Joseph Pragasam was too slow to get to the end of it. They eventually got it right in the 72nd minute, Sundram playing provider with an inch-perfect pass that was missed by Pragasam, but not by Matty Hyson. 1-1 the final score, a fair result for both teams that didn't deserve to lose for putting on a fine display of attacking and open soccer. Cheered on by a small but supportive crowd, Marine Castle was hoping for their first points when they hosted Home United at Hougang Stadium. But the visitors soon settled down, with Stuart Young and Egmar Gonsalves wasting chances in the first 15 minutes. Home United had a fright in the 25th minute. A mid-air collision left goalkeeper Sergio Cleveland screaming in pain, but thankfully the Brazilian escaped without serious injury. 5 minutes before half-time, Marine Castle jumped into a shock 1-0 lead. Defender Idam Ridwan heading home off a free kick. The Protectors came out charging in the second half, but striker Young and Faris Mohammed continued to fire blanks. With 15 minutes left, Marine Castle could have secured all 3 points, but defender T. Ramu skied his shot after a goal-mouth scramble. The Dolphins paid dearly when Bernard Ari missed a great chance in the 80th minute. Moments later, Stuart Young finally found the mark to equalize for Home United. A late goal by Home United eventually settled matters. Final score, Dragons 2, Dolphins 1. A week after their 4-0 defeat to Home United, Tampines in Blue visited the Jaguars' Den for a match against Tanjong Pagar. Without suspended flanker Muhammad Noor Ali, Rovers' Brazilian striker Marco Antonio was left alone up front to feel the bite of the Jaguars. Few chances were created in the opening half hour, and Basri Halis came closest for Tanjong Pagar in the 23rd minute. Tanjong Pagar should have scored in the 27th minute, but striker Abdul Marfavi missed an open header. A minute before half-time, Marco Antonio finally got his revenge on the Jaguars. Jerry Bartholomew's delivering a great cross for the Brazilian to volley home. Right from the restart, Tanjong Pagar came roaring back. Iranian Mafavi capitalizing on a defensive error to even the match at 1-1. The 1-1 scoreline remained for the rest of the match as both teams missed great scoring chances. Tampines was grateful to their goalkeeper Bashir Khan, who did well to save a Stephen Tan effort in the 53rd minute. The visitors then threatened from a corner, but defender Vlad Ciprian's header flew just wide. Late in the match, the goalpost and an infringement prevented Iranian striker Mafavi from scoring the winning goal. With 2 minutes remaining, Tampines had one last chance, but Brazilian Antonio could only hit the side netting. Final score at Queenstown, Tanjung Pagar 1, Tampines 1. Over at the Woodland Stadium, the Rams found the going tough against a stubborn Gombak United. Barely 7 minutes into the match, Jan Janostak intercepted a Thomas Urban cross and had keeper Go Ho Tong chasing the ball, but he failed to score and the danger was cleared. 10 minutes later, it was Janostak versus Urban again, and the check was clear with only the keeper to beat, but Go timed his run superbly. It was then the Rams' turn to come under a barrage of attacks by the charging Bulls. On 22 minutes, To Chun Ming's cross found Jørgen Nielsen, who was spot on with his header, to give his side a surprise lead. 8 minutes later, the Rams had a chance to pull level off this free kick just outside the box, but Erwin Boban's left foot curler was denied by the crossbar. The Rams had another chance to equalize just before half-time, but this Mohammad Madani effort was well saved. The second half saw a more aggressive Rams side, but the Bulls' dogged troops didn't give anything away. And the visitors came close to making it 2-0, but keeper Henrik Jorgensen denied Sazali Jantan with this crucial challenge. 8 minutes before the end, Mark Patterson cancelled out Nielsen's opening goal when he met this Zakaria Awang cross with perfection. The Rams thought they had a late winner when Zakaria played provider yet again, this time for substitute Mohammad Hafiz, but the linesman flagged for an offside. The Rams had to be contented with a draw, while Gombak United picked up their first point of the season. Now let's take a look at all the scores once again. Geylang United suffered their first defeat of the season to a revived Warrior side. Jurong FC had to come back from a goal down to force a 1-1 draw against Sembawang Rangers. Marine Castle again failed to hold on to their lead and lose 1-2 at the hands of Home United. Tanjung Pagar and Tampines share the spoils at Queenstown Stadium. And finally, Woodlands are also forced to share the points with a determined Gombak side, who registered their first point of the season. On to the league standings. Home United take over the top from Geylang, thanks to their comeback win against luckless Marine Castle. Geylang are second on 10 points, despite their loss to the Warriors. The Warriors are back on the warpath and climb to third spot, followed by Tanjung Pagar in fourth place on 8. The bottom half of the table sees Gombak United getting their first point of the S League, while Marine Castle are still pointless. Now here's a look at the S League hotshots. Watch him closely, as he may change the fortunes for Sembawang Rangers this season. Milomir Seslia, better known as Milo, is no stranger to the region, having been capped in Sabah and Kuala Lumpur colours from 1992 to 1997. His outstanding performances had earned him the Most Hardworking Foreign Player Award in 1995. The Yugoslav's familiarity with the Malaysian League has enabled him to fit into the local S League like a glove. And he has more to offer to his new club. Possessing a diploma in professional coaching, the 29-year-old looks forward to showing the finer points of the game to the youngsters. As a player, Milo is a versatile midfielder. He's a terror up front and rock solid in defense. With his experience, the new signing is everything Sembawang Rangers can hope for in its revival bid for the 1998 season. And here's the lucky winner of this week's Premier 12 Tiger Beer S-League Fan of the Week competition. If that's you on the screen, you win $100 cash from Tiger Beer and an S-League Gold Pass that allows you unlimited access to all matches this season. For more details about collecting your prize, call this number 225-8133. And before we say adios, let's take a look at this weekend's fixtures. Our match of the week will be at Hougang Stadium, where pointless Marine Castle try to salvage their pride against the Jurong Cobras. Balestier Central entertain a spirited Gombak side, boosted by their first point of the season. While Geylang will of course want to win back their home fans with a win against visitors Sembawang Rangers. The Warriors have a tough fight on their hands against Tampines Rovers. And finally, Tanjong Pagar will have their hands full, with Home United firing on all cylinders so far. Here S-League highlights, all the best of the best in goals, thrills and action. Geylang United return to the top of the table as the Protectors surrender to only their second defeat of the season. And here also from Geylang's pillar in defense, Mr. Neil Allison. But it's over first to the Hougang Stadium and Jamie Reeves for the clash between Marine Castle and visitors Jurong FC.
If it's your birthday today or you just like dressing up as a dolphin, then the Hougang Stadium is where you should be tonight. Free admission to see this season's new kids on the block, the Dolphins of Marine Castle, entertain last season's new kids, the Cobras from Jurong. Well, the Dolphins haven't won too many points on the field of play so far this season, but they won an awful lot of praise for their style of play on the pitch, and more importantly, perhaps, their organisation off of it. Here is the lineup for Marine Castle. A lot of new faces to many people. Scott O'Donnell, of course, has come over from Tampines, the big Australian. Tiara Vinthan has come from Sembawang. There's Bernard Ayi, the Ghanaian. There are the two Englishmen, Philip Daly and Ian Gore. There's Nduka Ugbade, the Nigerian, and T. Ramu, the number 15. So a new look side from Marine Castle, coached by Mike Lyons. For Jurong, they've got no less than 11 new signings this season, but one or two faces familiar from last year. Bohan Hodak, the Croatian, has come over from Balestier. Matti Hyson, the Englishman, is there. There's also Tanko Jetuma, the Ghanaian, who's still in the lineup. Joe Pragasam's come over from Tiongbaru. Damien Henderson from the Leeds United team has come from England. Jason Ainsley, the English captain. And perhaps the most familiar face in Singapore soccer, that man in your picture there, V. Sundramurti, who appears to be regained his full fitness. Sundram playing up front alongside Joe Pragasam, and it looks to me as if Joe's been working out in the weights room, because he looks a little bit more muscular than last time I saw him. Matti Hyson, the big enthusiastic Englishman, the number 5, doing a few stretches before the kick-off. Little drag back from Sundram, no foul committed. That's our fast looker, Ugbade, and I think that's a handball. The referee spotted it. The Nigerian who played in their World Cup qualifying squad, and there's Mike Lyons, the coach for Marine Castle, formerly of Everton and Sheffield Wednesday. They've been playing well, Marine Castle, but haven't been able to score. Let's see if they can do a bit better this evening. This is Damien Henderson of Jurong, former top scorer for Leeds Reserves. Matti Hyson gets a little flick on. Sundram flicks it on. Sundram with a chance to get to the byline. Can he get a cross in? Well, he does get a cross, but it's defended well. And Sundramurti wins the first free kick of the match. And jogging over to take the free kick, the corner kick, is Tanko Jetuma. Tanko with a lovely left foot goes deep, but that's well defended, and it comes out once again to the Nigerian Ugbade. And he comes away, and well, he's willing to take the defenders on. He's got blistering pace, this young man. It's a heavy challenge. He's appealing for the free kick, but the referee says, no, it's a man's game, get on with it, son. But certainly the Nigerian showing great pace there. And Jurong pumped the ball up. Big Scott McDonald comes in. And there's Ayi, the Ghanaian, challenging for it. And the ball breaks out. And once again, Scott O'Donnell gets a header. Matti Hyson on the ball. Knocks it wide. Goes to Jetuma. He's looking for support. Plays the ball inside, there's a little touch. Here comes Jason Ainsley, edge of the box, and it's a first goal to Jurong. Jason Ainsley from the edge of the box just picked his point at the far post, and Abdul Rahim, the veteran goalkeeper for Marine Castle, is absolutely stranded. As the ball comes across, Jason Ainsley, great technique for you youngsters watching, keeps his knee over the ball, drills it into the far corner, and that's 1-0 after just 5 minutes to Jurong. Well, when you're at the bottom of the league like Marine Castle, things tend to go against you. So they're a goal down after just 5 minutes. And a free kick now for Bernard Ayi. What can he come up with? The big men are up from the back. Bernard Ayi goes to the near post, and that's a bit unlucky. Ubade almost got a touch on it, but the ball just bounces through to Mohamed Kiman, who just whacks the ball long. There is the Ghanaian, played in the World Youth Cup for Ghana some years ago in Australia, where they got the bronze medal. And here's a good break down the left flank, but good covering challenge. Maybe just took the ball a little bit too far. Harun Jumat there, unable to get a telling ball in. So corner, Roy Yo on the ball. Comes in, there's a good challenge, but clearance from Damien Henderson. And Jumat tussling with Joe Pragasam. Jumat dummying. Joe still in close attendance, and Pragasam comes, well no, doesn't come away with the ball, just gives away the throw-in. T. Aravinthan keen to get on with it. Ball goes down the line. It's a good little wriggling run from Ayi. He's still going, but takes it just a little bit too far. Jason Ainsley, the skipper, gets a challenge in. Scott O'Donnell returns the ball. Chance to shoot. Long-range shot. Goalkeeper spills it, and this must be the equaliser. Well, extraordinary. Philip Daly. You had to back him to score there as he followed up. But in fact, he only scuffed the shot, and it just fell into the grateful hands of Mohamed Kiman. Scott O'Donnell again with the header. Sundram tussling with Ayi for this. Ayi feels it should be his throw. Sundram doesn't agree. Shake of the head, hands on the hips, but it won't change the referee's mind. Throw-in does go to Marine Castle, but they give the ball away. Matty Hyson with a little flick on. Big Scott O'Donnell joins the attack. A robust challenge, but the referee says no foul, and the ball comes wide to Joe Pragasam. Got plenty of space down the right flank. Can he get a telling cross? Well, he goes short this time. Matty Hyson on the ball, shooting chance. Well, he's blasted it into the near side netting, when perhaps he would have been better if he drilled it across goal and gone for the far post. Matty Hyson, big man, and you can see he's frustrated with that. Well, Mike Lyon's a big man as well, the coach for Marine Castle, and he's absolutely furious with something. Joe Pragasam once again in some space on the right. Ball comes inside, Hyson on the ball. Wriggles past one, past two, but the ball eventually whacked to relative safety. And this is Philip Daly on the ball, the big centre forward. Slips it through to Ubade, who we've already seen has got great pace, but he's got a nice touch on the ball. He slips it back to Daly. Good shot from Daly, and what a superb save from Mohamed Kiman. Surely Philip Daly must have thought he'd got the equaliser. The ball arrowing into the top corner, and Mohamed Kiman flew across his goal to claw it to safety. Magnificent save. Well, the crowd certainly getting the value for money this evening. So, second half, and Sundram on the ball. Will he go for a back heel? We haven't seen one yet this evening. Well, he played the dummy, in fact, and there's a terrible challenge from T. Aravinthan. Fortunately, he's not actually injured, Sundram. He gets up a little ruefully. So, free kick by Tamil Maran here. Big Damien Henderson's up. Damien Henderson gets up, wins the header, and that's the second goal for Jurong. But no, the referees said, well, offside decision given. Referee with his arm up. The referee's assistant on the far side, to be fair to him, had his flag up immediately. Jimmy Pearson, the Scottish coach of Jurong, absolutely furious. It's all about passion, isn't it, this game? So it's another corner kick, this time from the other side. The ball comes in. Little flick on from Hyson. Sundram challenging in there, and the ball bounces off Bohan Hodak and goes for a goal kick. Sundram unable to get a telling touch inside the 6-yard box after a good header from big Matty Hyson. So we have a free kick now for Marine Castle late in the piece. It's a nice little head-on from Philip Daly. And the ball comes across goal. And this is the substitute, Hafid Rashid, but great goalkeeping. And unfortunately, Ian Gore unable to slide in the rebound. And perhaps that was the final chance for Marine Castle. Free kick now, Damien Henderson taking as long as he dare over this one. It's very late, we're playing time added on for stoppages. Damien Henderson whacks the ball long, and in fact, Ismail Soudi, the referee, calls full time. And so, Jason Ainsley, the captain, giving Jurong the lead in the 5th minute. And although Marine Castle created a few half chances, still the frustration in front of goal for them. So final score from the Hougang Stadium, Marine Castle 0, Jurong 1.
Here we go now with a roundup of the other 4 matches. Over at the Toa Payoh Stadium, there was a goal fest as Gombak United fell to their 5th defeat in their first year in the S League. Balestier's Marko Kraljevic opened accounts for the home team before Goran Paulic let loose a hat-trick of goals. His first came in the 32nd minute after Said Ali Eftekari spotted the unmarked striker. The Croatian striker scored again 2 minutes from half-time. Eftekari was again involved with the cross, and the towering Paulic added another to his sizzling tally. His hat-trick 2 minutes later made it 4-0 to the Tigers at half-time. It was no more than a minute into the second half when the tattered Gombak defense gifted Mohammad Rizam with Balestier's 5th goal. In the 48th minute, it was Balestier's turn to question their defense. Thai international Surachai picked out To Chun Meng in the box, and his header in put Gombak on the scoreboard. The Bulls may have been trailing 5-1, but they kept the Balestier backline on their toes. Another Surachai cross found Danish signing Christian Skafter, who made it 2 for Gombak. But that was all Gombak could muster, and as the game drew to a close, Altian Ho converted Balestier's 6th and final goal. The 6-2 scoreline saw Gombak United fall to their worst defeat of the season. The match at Bedok Stadium was expected to be a titanic battle between 2 teams occupying 2nd and 3rd spot in the league. But the game between Geylang Eagles and the Sembawang Stallions only burst into life in the second half. The introduction of Indra Sadan for Geylang proved the turning point. 8 minutes after the break, a defensive slip allowed Indra to break free, but his shot was just blocked by the diving Toure El Haji. But there was no denying the home side in the 63rd minute. A fast break down the right flank by Indra. A combination with Warren Spink, whose final layoff to Ahmad Latif proved the killer blow as the youngster buried the ball with deadly accuracy. 1-0 to Geylang. 5 minutes later, Mohammad Noor Rahman got past a shaky Sembawang backline and played provider for Warren Spink, who showed that he's still one of the best finishers around. Geylang 2 up. The Stallions were reeling, and they were hapless as the Eagles swooped in from the flanks. Ahmad Latif catching Toure El Haji out with a shot instead of a pass in the 71st minute. 3-0 to Geylang, the score flattering for a side that looked lost in the first half. An injury hit Tampines Rovers visited last year's league champions SAFFC at the Jurong Town Stadium. Despite the absence of several key players, Tampines controlled most of the first half and stunned the crowd in the 16th minute. After a great individual effort by the young Muhammad Noor Ali on the left, he crossed unselfishly to the awaiting Bogdan Brazovianu for Tampines' first goal. Noor threatened again 3 minutes later with his curling strike, bringing the best out of Rizal Hassan. But minutes from the half-time whistle, SAFFC's Paponya Vaselko of Boomer pumped in Fundy's corner to level the scores. The tables turned dramatically seconds later when Tampines found themselves trailing. This time, V. Selvaran glanced in a cross from Velimir Kryan for the Warriors to take a 2-1 lead into the break. Mohammad Noor Ali was again instrumental in earning Tampines the equalizer. The speedy midfielder was brought down by Rizal in the 75th minute, and Brasoviano made no mistake from the spot kick for his second of the night. But the superior Warriors regained the lead yet again when substitute Damir Matijevich nodded in this Azar Saleh corner. The cheers had hardly died down when the Warriors sealed the match in the 85th. Kryan and Ivica Ragush threatened from outside the box, but the ball was laid off to the unmarked Mohammad Hafiza. Smiles all round the Jurong Town Stadium, save for the Tampines support as the Stags taste their third defeat of the season. Final score, SAFFC 4, Tampines Rovers 2. On to our final destination, Queenstown Stadium. League leaders Home United suffered an early setback when Tanjong Pagar scored through Stephen Tan after just 3 minutes. The Jaguars in red and white completely dominated the first half. Playmaker Majid Motla ruled the midfield and striker Stephen Tan threatened on several occasions. In the 23rd minute, Stephen found Motla at the far post, but the Iranian missed from 5 meters out. After a string of misses, Tanjong Pagar finally got a second goal. Off a goal-mouth scramble, Majid Motla pounced on a rebound to score in the 42nd minute. League leaders Home United tried to cut their 2-goal deficit by making 3 substitutions in the second half. But the visitors paid dearly for their defensive errors. Iranian Abdul Mafavi made it 3-0 just 6 minutes after the restart. Home captain Zolz Bush refused to give up, but striker Gonsalves was unable to finish off his fine pass. With a 3-goal cushion, Tanjong Pagar was content to soak up the pressure as the protected strikers were thankfully off form. Jaguars fans were on their feet when keeper Dragan Talajic saved superbly from a Zolz Bush free kick. The Tanjong Pagar custodian was determined to keep a clean sheet, pulling off a series of good saves in the second half. In the final minute, Stuart Young wasted another protector's attack, and the scoreline remained Tanjong Pagar 3, Home United 0. Now let's take a look at all the scores once again. On to the league standings, and this is how the table looks after round 7 of the Tiger Beer S League. Geylang boot Home United from the helm and nestle down to a 1-point lead over the Protectors at the top. Last year's league champions SAF move up to 3rd spot, while Tanjong Pagar snuggle into 4th place on 11 points. However, there are no changes to the bottom half of the table. Tampines haven't had a win since their opening match against Gombak United, and hovered. He is a towering 1.85 meters tall, and he's English. His name, Neil Allison, and he's been a pillar of strength in Geylang United's defense. Though the 24-year-old plays at the back, he still strikes terror into his rivals with his aerial power. Having played for English Division 2 club Hull, the Briton came to Singapore in search of new challenges. And since the opening match last month, Allison has had a good outing so far. But his biggest battle, he feels, isn't against any player, but the local hot and humid weather. Otherwise, the Englishman is having a great time playing in the S League, and especially for such a club with so much history, the Eagles.
They're all difficult. Every game's difficult. I know a lot of people think we're favourites along with other clubs, but as long as we go out there and win, they're all our games. So we go out and win, can't complain. I don't think we've been playing that well, but we're top of the league, so no complaints at the moment. We can only get better.
And here's the lucky winner of this week's Premier 12 Tiger Beer S League Fan of the Week competition. If that's you on the screen, you win $100 cash from Tiger Beer and an S League Gold Pass that allows you unlimited access to all matches this season. For more details about collecting your prize, call this number, 225-8133. And before we say adios, let's take a look at this weekend's fixtures. The match of the week will feature the top-of-the-table clash between home and Geylang United at the Bishan Stadium. Marine Castle will have their hands full against the on-surging SAFFC, who are fighting to move up the table. Tampines will be at home to Jurong. Tanjung Pagar will have to mute Goran Palic if they're to have any chance at all against the Raging Tigers, while Woodlands entertain Sembawang Rangers in the Clash of the North. On tonight's Tiger Beer S League highlights, it's goals, goals, and more goals as we zoom in on the Rams on their visit to a red-hot Warriors side on the warpath. And we get up close and personal with the safest pair of hands in the Jaguars' den, Dragan Talic. But as usual, we kick off with the week's feature match, and it's over first to the Jurong Stadium with Jamie Reeves.
4,200 fans are here at the Jurong Stadium to watch the Warriors, who after losing 2 of their first 4 games, have won their last 4 games straight to put themselves second in the table. Today's visitors, Woodlands Wellington, are at the opposite end of the table, having only won once so far this season. But they'll be eager to stop the rot tonight. So for Armed Forces, well, we always make a lot of fuss about their Croatians, but 2 local players have really caught the eye this year. Number 11, Mohamed Hafizat, wide on the left, and for me, the star for them so far this season, number 14, Azar Saleh. Still no room on the starting lineup for Damir Matijasevic. For Woodlands, well, they've had to make changes. Nicholas Peverell, their new signing, the Englishman, makes his debut, the number 11. And in goal, the 37-year-old Ismail Maksut comes in. And playing in their traditional pale blue strips, the Armed Forces, playing from left to right, kick the game off. Woodlands Wellington in their yellow shirts. And the pitch looks very nice, but is a little bit bumpy, which will put a bit of pressure on the midfield. And of course, it's in the midfield where the Armed Forces are so very, very strong. The 2 Croatians, supplemented by Nasri Nazir and the 2 young men that I just mentioned, look so good. Ivica Ragus got the corner, goes to Velimir Krajen, back to Ragus, who's got far too much space to cross. And Fandi's on the far post. Fandi is picked out. Fandi gets the header. Well, he gets the ball down, but unusually for him, he fails to hit the target. And the captain there, sporting a little goatee beard again, must feel he should have scored from that one. Papo with the long kick. Fandi gets a head to it, challenged by Amin Nazir. Old adversaries, those 2. And that's our first look at Nick Peverell, who battles hard for the ball. Nick's got the ball again and slides it through to Mohamed Haslizan. Mohamed tries a shot, well, it's only really half it, and no problem at all for Rizal Hassan in goal for the Warriors. The ball bowled out to Ivica Ragus, goes to Nasri, to Krajen. And they're just so comfortable. They play 5 across the midfield. This will almost inevitably be Azar Saleh. And they're all such good footballers. Ragus gets a little nutmeg, goes inside. That's a nasty challenge, actually, on Ivica Ragus. Ishak Saad, the offender, does the sensible thing and apologises to all concerned. Wenger, one of the most colourful characters in local soccer. Not too animated just yet. Dean Wheatley in front of him. Ball slid through to Fandi. Who's he got ahead of him? Well, Selvaraj made a good run into the box. Selvaraj is in a shooting position, and it just thumps against the far post. And Ismail Maksut in goal. No chance with that one. V. Selvaraj opens the scoring, puts the Armed Forces 1-0 ahead in the 16th minute. Clever ball by Fandi. He looks up, plays a reverse ball. Selvaraj given far too much space. Keeps the ball low, just slams against the far post, and that's 1-0. Don't these fans love it? That ball given away much too easily. And Ivica Ragus, who certainly looks fitter and fitter as the weeks pass, to Krajen, who's looked fit throughout. Krajen dummies the shot with the left shot. Is he going to shape with the right? Well, he does, and it thumps against the post, and Ismail Maksut didn't even move. Extraordinary little sequence. Vincent Subramaniam lost for words. Ismail Maksut, the 37-year-old goalkeeper, getting his chance because that's an area where they've struggled. And this is Nick Peveril, and he's shown a nice turn of pace, reverses the ball. Good ball from Nick Peveril. Haslizan Hassan, and that's the equaliser. Haslizan Hassan chasing the ball in, he just slides it past Rizal Hassan. Nick Peveril does well on the outside of Papo, and a good reverse ball as it comes in. Rizal Hassan stands up as he should do, but Haslizan Hassan slides in, and that's brought a smile to Wenger's face. The ball goes back to Papo, and that slightly bumpy pitch puts him under pressure. He goes all the way back to Rizal Hassan. Well, Vincent's got plenty to think about for half-time. Only 1-1, and it's a home game. He'll be expected to win this one. There's Ragus on the ball to Cryan, his countryman. Cryan, such a beautiful runner. Dummies, takes the shot, but this time quite comfortably saved by the goalkeeper, Ismail Matsuk. Shows that he's firmly in command of that situation. So the crowd enjoying an entertaining game as we move into the second half, with the score standing at 1-1. And this is Ragus on the ball once again. Fandi, only a bit of a half challenge there. Notification at the bottom of a substitution. Woodlands Wellington come forward. Irvin Boban on the ball, and he spreads it wide to Haslizan Hassan, the goal scorer. Haslizan looking for a cross. Mohamed Hafiz tries to get on the end of it, but couldn't quite get ahead on it. And the ball breaks almost inevitably to Cryan. Dean Wheatley trying to hear what's going on the pitch. And finally, Damir Matijasevic does get a run out. Visel Varaj, having scored in the first half, he's had a good night out. Matijasevic yet to prove his worth, really. Azhar Saleh linking with Cryan, as they have done so very effectively this year. Azhar Saleh, beautiful ball played forward from Matijasevic. Dummies inside, shooting opportunity. Keeper's done well. Still it hasn't gone. Azhar Saleh takes the second strike, but I think that was Amin Nazir charged it down. And the ball comes away, and Vincent far more animated now as his charges go looking for the second goal, which will put them back in the lead. Here's Azhar Saleh again. Into Velimir Cryan, strong on the ball, shrugging off Irvin Boban. Ivica Ragus, Nazri Nazir, all of the midfield involved. They look so comfortable. Matijasevic on the ball. They're just playing keep ball at the moment, just prying, waiting for the opening. Nazri, Ragus, and now Cryan does have the space. He must favour the left foot. Is he going to float the ball in? Well, he does float the ball in. Mohamed Mardani, but oh, it's a terrible mistake from Mohamed Mardani. And Fandi Ahmad on hand just to thump the ball into the empty net. Well, a disastrous mistake from the youngster Mohamed Mardani. As Cryan floats this ball in, Mardani, always favourite for it, needed to knock it behind for a corner kick. And all he does is just set it up for Fandi Ahmad, who gratefully smashes it into the goal. So 2-1 it is to the armed forces. Well, now here's a rarity. Damir Matijasevic has only been on the pitch 26 minutes. He doesn't look injured, but a rather crestfallen Matijasevic is in fact substituted. Malek Awab with a free kick, but a good clearing header. And the ball's still not clear. Mohamed Nourzadi on the end, tries a cross shot. Nick Peveril tries to get on the end of it, but only manages to deflect the ball for a goal kick. Nick Peveril certainly worked hard and looked a useful acquisition for Woodlands tonight, I must say. Dean Wheatley still exhorting his team to up the tempo down the line. The usual characters on the ball. Oh, lovely turn from Azhar Saleh. And another turn from Velimir Cryan. Back to Azhar, and exactly the same ball thrown through Mohamed Hafizat, and he shoots a cross goal, and Mohamed Hafizat puts his team 3-1 ahead. And although it was a lovely ball through from Azhar Saleh and a nice strike from Mohamed Hafizat, you've got to say that Ismail Matsuk doesn't do terribly well here. The ball was quite close to his body, and really he should have done rather better with that. And surely in the 82nd minute, there's no way back for Woodlands Wellington. 3-1 down. The home supporters ecstatic. Velimir Cryan playing quite superbly. Links with Ragus, and Cryan heading for goal. Malek Awab comes across, and it's a nasty challenge from Malek Awab, and the referee straight away picks out the yellow card, and Malek can have no complaints about that one. The raised digit indicating that Malek's saying it's the first offence he's committed tonight. I might be a little bit sceptical about that, but let's go along with what Malek says. And surely this is a chance for Payoh, yes, for one of his booming free kicks. The ball doesn't seem to be an awful long way back, I must say. And the danger's still not cleared. Ragus knocks it wide to Fandi. Fandi heads across, half cleared. But eventually the danger, well, fairly cleared by Mohamed Mardani. Once again, the youngster Mohamed Mardani makes a slightly better fist of clearing it this time to Irving Boban. Boban playing much deeper now, plays in midfield rather than up front, but showing he's lost none of his skill. Plays it up to Nick Peverell, and it goes to the substitute Razali Ahmad, and, well, difficult to see exactly who Razali had in mind there. Rizal Hassan just bowls the ball out casually as the referee, Mr. Santon, calls a halt to proceedings. So 4,200 fans got their full entertainment value as they see after a 1-1 draw at half-time. Their favourites, the Armed Forces, scoring twice in the second half for a final score, Armed Forces 3, Woodlands Wellington 1.
It's time for a look into the other matches played over the weekend. And we start at the Yishun Stadium, where the Sembawang Rangers hosted the Tampines Rovers. The Stallions in green fought out a dull first half, which produced a scatter of chances. A dramatic second half, however, began with players and fans waiting for the referees. The match finally came to life, and Tampines got an early goal. 5 yellow cards were awarded, and the temperature kept rising. Off a 64th minute free kick, Sembawang made it 1-1 when Osman Ndiaye scored from close range. 13 minutes later, Tampines regained the lead when a poor clearance by Rangers keeper Toure El Haji allowed Marco Antonio to score. Despite pressure from Sembawang, Bogdan Brazovianu got his second goal of the match and Tampines' third. But a minute later, Rangers reduced the deficit to 3-2 through Zlatko Vidan. 7 minutes from time, Sembawang thought they had the equalizer. But Vidan's joy turned to disbelief when a linesman flagged for offside. The referee stopped the match for some 4 minutes as the match commissioner was consulted. Vidan's goal was disallowed and the match ended 2 minutes into injury time. The final whistle sparked off protests from players and a full-scale pitch invasion erupted. Several fans showed their displeasure as chaos and disorder broke out. While the referees were guided to safety, hundreds of fans refused to leave the stadium. The police finally came to restore order, and a youth was detained for questioning. For the record, the final score was Sembawang 2, Tampines 3. Geylang United in their usual white and green strip were knocked off the tabletop 2 rounds back, but were determined to climb up again with a win over Balestier Central. But with the Tigers' Croatian connection up front, they almost fell behind when Marko Kraljevic chipped over David Lee and the crossbar. Geylang's first chance at opening accounts came in the 16th minute. Max Nicholson picked out Warren Spink inside the box, but the Australian headed wide. A quick counter-attack in the 22nd minute caught the Balestier defense off their guard. Dalis supplied with the cross in, and young Ahmad Latif Kamarudin chipped in for his 5th goal this season. Geylang United had several more chances in the first half, but the unfortunate Spink was unable to increase their lead. As the Tigers mounted their search for the equalizer, the tension burst in the 39th minute. Goran Pavlic lashed out his thoughts on a challenge made on him. Tempers cooled in the second half as Spink set out to increase the Eagles' lead, but found little solace in front of goal. There was no shortage of goal attempts at the other side either. Howlett steered the ball in, but was denied by the upright. Latif found the back of the net a second time in the 67th minute, but the goal was disallowed for an infringement inside the penalty box. But his earlier one was enough for the Eagles to take away the full 3 points and send the Tigers back to the drawing board. Meanwhile, the visiting Jurong fans were out in full force, hoping to see their team stage an upset over league leaders Home United. But it was the Protectors who threw the first punches. Stuart Young's driving free kick was well spotted by the Jurong keeper Mohamed Kaman. Despite the early home pressure, it was the visitors who got the opening break. Joseph Pragasam easily chipped over Sergio Cleveland for a 1-0 lead. The home side pushed forward in the second half. Gusta Guzarisha blew a great equalizing chance over the crossbar in the 39th minute. Still goalless, Home's mighty Hungarian defender Zoltz was pushed up, and it paid off. His tight-angle drive took a deflection as it headed in for the equalizer. Plenty of chances were missed at either end until B. Sundaramurthy paved the way for Pragasam, who made no mistake with sealing the winner for Jurong. 2-1 the final score as the Protectors sank to their first defeat at home. Finally, it's over to Queenstown Stadium, where the Tanjong Pagar Jaguars entertained a determined Gombak United side. All the action was in the second half, the Jaguars having a better start to the game after the break. This Majid Motla corner only half cleared by keeper Go Ho Tong, and Basri Halis's header looked to be heading in, if not for the ever-alert Mohammad Shahban Port. But it was the visitors who found the net first in the 62nd minute. A poor clearance by the Jaguars' backline, and Thai import Jay Surachai was on hand to punish them. His floating cross finding the head of skipper Jorgen Nielsen. But it was all square. Barely 6 minutes later, the Bulls finding it hard to check Basri Halis. His cross finding an unmarked Abdul Marfavi, who rounded the keeper to touch home the equalizer. Gombak should have regained the lead 2 minutes later, but Lady Luck was not on their side as this glancing header by To Chun Meng beat Dragan Talajic, but not the upright. And the Bulls were severely punished for that miss. A bit of magic by Majid Motla on the left flank. The former Iranian international beat two defenders and provided a pinpoint cross for substitute Stephen Tan to head home from 5 meters. Stephen Tan almost returned the favor in the dying minutes of the game. His perfect cross picking out Majid Motla, who just could not connect cleanly with his head, but Tanjong Pagar still ran out winners 2-1 to the Jaguars. And we take a look at all the scores once again. On to the league standings, and this is how the table looks after round 10. Singapore Armed Forces have taken the lead for the first time this season on 21 points after their demolition of the Rams. But the Jaguars and the Eagles are hot on their heels. Tanjong Pagar and Geylang both on 20 points following their narrow wins. Home United dropped to 4th, but are only 2 points off the pace. And Jurong's win over the Protectors keep them within striking distance of the leading pack. The Cobras now on 17 points. The only change at the bottom half of the table, Tampines Rovers climb above Woodlands Wellington after their win over Sembawang.
I'm Dragan Talajic. You're watching an S-League show.
It's not even halfway through the S-League season, yet Dragan Talajic has been touted as the league's best goalkeeper. The 32-year-old Croatian's been the defensive pillar in Tanjong Pagar United's impressive surge to the top half of the table, producing superb saves and providing a calming influence at the back. Talajic, who has spent most of his footballing career in Europe, decided to come to the Jags for a fresh challenge.
I think football in Singapore is good. My feeling is okay. Yes, my team it's very good. Have a champion ambition in this year, and I hope so. And champion this year.
The green-eyed custodian is not the only one smiling these days. Coach Robert Alberts rates him highly as well.
I think he's a good keeper, he's a good personality, he's got character. He's got what it needs to be a good football player.
With such reassurance, things may look brighter for Tanjung Pagar this season. And perhaps Talajic will be nodding all the way to the title. Let's cue it up. News from the S-League. Robin Chan has just taken over as the coach of Tampines Rovers. Chan was recruited late last week after the former coach Chang Boon Seng was asked to leave due to the Rovers' bad run in the league so far. The ex-Balestier coach is glad to be back and looks upon this new assignment as another challenge. After some 9 rounds of matches, S-League clubs are starting to fine-tune their lineups. Woodlands Wellington goalkeeper Henrik Jorgensen will not be back in goal this season after his contract expires, while 19-year-old Mark Patterson has also been dropped and replaced by another Englishman, Nicholas Peveril. Meanwhile, Gombak United doubled their Thai signings last week with newcomer Surachai Jirasirichot. This has been touted as a tactical move by the bottom-place club, who have been suffering with a lack of stable defenders. Making way for the Thai is Christian Skafter. And here's the lucky winner of this week's Premier 12 Tiger Beer S-League Fan of the Week competition. If that's you on the screen, you win $100 cash from Tiger Beer and an S-League Gold Pass that allows you unlimited access to all matches this season. For more details about collecting your prize, call this number 225-8133. And before we unlace our boots, let's take a look at this weekend's fixtures. For the match of the week, we go up north for a fiery clash between two sides that have shared the spoils in many clashes. Woodlands Wellington take on Tanjung Pagar on the Rams' turf. And at Toa Payoh, Balestier Tigers host the Sembawang side that have caused a few upsets so far. The Gombak Bulls really need to pull up their socks if they hope to survive the Warriors' onslaught. And Sundram will be back to lead the Jurong Cobras against Geylang United at their favourite home ground. Finally, Robin Chan hopes to lead Tampines out of the doldrums against luckless Marine Castle. And that's the Tiger Beer S-League highlights show this week. Join us again next week for more exciting goals and our feature match of the week, the crunch match at Woodland Stadium as the Rams horn in on the Tanjung Pagar Jaguars. See you then, folks.
Wellington have been suffering poor form since the season kicked off. If that continues, the Rams could see themselves getting acquainted with cellar dwellers Gombak United and Marine Castle. So they definitely needed a good result last night against the high-flying Tanjung Pagar.
With the two forwards, Jan Janostak and Nick Peveril playing together for the first time, the Rams sent out a clear signal to the Tanjung Pagar defence. From the whistle, the home side in yellow launched a barrage of attempts, but on so many occasions, they were unlucky not to find the back of the net. Peveril here just missing by inches. The Tanjung Pagar midfield was suspect in the first 25 minutes. This almost proved costly when they lost possession, while Zakaria Awang out-dribbled the Jaguars' defence, but his finishing was not quite as impressive. The Jags finally got into the match by the end of the first half. Their clearest chance at stealing the lead came via Abdul Marfavi, but this basically summed up the first half opportunities for both sides. His Iranian teammate Majid Moklak blew another chance in the next half. 4 minutes later, Ismail Mascot was the hero when he saved brilliantly off Jörg Steinbrunner's header. The visitors finally gained the advantage on the stroke of full time when substitute Stephen Tan was grounded by Malik Awab in the penalty box. Substitute goalkeeper Imaran read the kick well, and Stephen placed his penalty neatly in the corner. The Rams fought to level the game in the 4 minutes of injury time, but in the end, Tanjung Pagar came out winners 1-0 and take over at the top of the table. Over at the Tampines Stadium, the Stags were looking to record their second straight win under new coach Robin Chan against the winless Marine Castle. After their 3-2 victory over the Sembawang Stallions last week, the home team came out in full force. But the Dolphins, parading new signing Marcus Phillips, were aiming for their first win of the season. Tampines threw the first salvo in the 8th minute when Georgie Marian blasted this free kick straight at Rahim Ismail. The home team's continuous pressure nearly paid off just 10 minutes later, but Muhammad Noor Ali's side foot hit the post. It was then Castle's turn to turn on the heat, but Nduga Ugbadi could only rifle his shot onto the post. Bogdan Brazuvianu then had a glorious chance to put his side in the lead before the break, but his stiff grounder was superbly saved by the agile Rahim. Second half action, and Noor could have given Tampines the first goal, but he skied his attempt. Tampines missed a pair of chances which came their way. First, Noor's tap-in failed to find its mark before Brazilian Marco Antonio blasted his shot into the night. Former international Rahim saved his side from another defeat just minutes before the end when he smothered Marian's goal-bound shot. The match ended goalless, but the fans were treated to an entertaining match. And here's a look at all the results from the matches played last night. The best defensive team in the S-League, Tanjong Pagar United, keep yet another clean sheet with their 1-0 win over Woodlands Wellington. At the Toa Payoh Stadium, Balestier Central sealed a 3-0 win over Sembawang in the highest scoring game of the week. The biggest surprise of the evening, though, came when Gombak United held the Warriors to a goalless draw. At the Jurong East Stadium, man of the match Sundramoorthy was unable to inspire the Jurong Cobras into a game-winning performance, sinking to a 2-1 defeat to the Geylang Eagles. And finally, Marine Castle garnered another precious point after holding Robin Chan's Tampines Rovers to a goalless draw. And the table shows that there's a new team at the top. It's still tight, but thanks to the Gombak Bulls who drew with SAFFC, Tanjong Pagar now lead the table standings. Meanwhile, Geylang United stay close in second place, also on 23 points, while the Warriors drop back down to third place on 22 points. The only move at the bottom half of the table came from Balestier, whose win pushed them above the Stallions into 6th spot on 15 points. No changes at the bottom, however, although a point each for Marine Castle and Gombak United edges them closer to the others. There will be more S-League action on Tuesday, which kicks off the second half of the season. The outcome of the match between Geylang United and Tanjong Pagar United may well see another change at the top of the table. Home will be back in action as they aim to make their way up the standings again, but that'll be no easy feat against the defending champions SAFFC. V. Sundramoorthy will play against his old club Woodlands, while Marine Castle hosts the resurgent Balestier Central. And finally, Gombak United will want to avenge their 2-3 loss to Tampines Rovers in April and perhaps make a fresh start to the second half of the season.
League this week, Singapore's top 2 sides shared the points. Emma Gonzalez scored the first for Home United from a Mohamed Azman cross. League leaders Geylang equalised shortly after the interval through young striker Ahmed Latif. The Protectors went in front for a second time. Gonsalves the provider, Stuart Young the scorer. But it was man of the match Latif that drew the game level for the visitors. Home United 2, Geylang 2. Title holders Armed Forces dominated their match with the help of opponents Marine Castle. A 14th minute deflection from a Savanraj cross put the Warriors in front. The second half belonged to the Armed Forces midfielder Velimir Kryan. He doubled the score with this low drive. The Croatian displayed more individual skill with a 25-yard curling volley. Subbed substitute Kai Beng grabbed a consolation with the last kick of the match. Tampines continued their bad run of form at home to Jurong. A slip-up by keeper Bashir Khan gifted Jason Aisley with the opener. Matty Hyson found Sundramuthi for his first goal of the season and Jurong's second. Final score, Tampines 0, Jurong 2. The only strike to separate Tejong Pagar and Balestier Central was from informed striker Abdul Mafami. Woodlands Wellington were awarded a penalty through a late tackle from Sembawang keeper Yassin. Paul Richardson converted to put the Rams ahead 1-0. But just 4 minutes later, Rangers equalised through Croatian Slatko Vidan.